to Resist45. I appreciate you listening to this video. As many of you might be aware, Donald Trump would like to pass comprehensive tax reform, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But we need to look at a couple of components of his tax plan to understand his mentality and to see where he's focusing who gets the benefit of changes in the tax system. Now, talking about taxes is not all that exciting, I understand. But this is really important if you are a young earner just entering into the job market now, or you have young children. This is going to affect you in a big way, so stick with me. The two components of the tax system that Donald Trump is proposing that we need to look at is the AMT, which is the alternative minimum tax, and the estate tax. Let's start with the AMT. What is the alternative minimum tax? The alternative minimum tax is a component of the tax system which is intended to make it so that the wealthiest earners cannot escape paying their fair share of taxes by employing loopholes and deductions to the point that they actually pay nothing. Now, this is perfectly reasonable and a perfectly fair tax to have in place. No one should be escaping paying taxes entirely when you're a high earner. Now, the AMT has been criticized a bit for reaching down and affecting lower income earners, and it's true, it needs to be indexed and it probably needs to have some minor modifications. But I'll say it again, it is a perfectly fair and reasonable tax. The vast majority of the AMT taxes are collected by people who are earning somewhere around $350,000 to $500,000 a year. Now, let's put that in perspective. If you're earning $500,000 a year, you're making just under $10,000 a week. That's a lot of money. And our tax code should not be structured in such a way that people who earn that kind of money can hire an army of lawyers and accountants to escape paying their taxes by taking advantage of loopholes and tax breaks. And so the alternative minimum tax kicks in at some point and guarantees that these high earners pay something. Now it's not just people earning $500,000 a year who pay this. The people earn a lot more money than that pay it. If you're $1 million a year earner or a $2 million a year earner, and you're trying to escape taxes, the AMT will kick in. Let's think about what $2 million a year is. That's just under $40,000 a week. I think it's okay for these people to be paying taxes. The AMT should be kept in place. It's a fair component of the tax system. And let's discuss the other part of the tax system that I think is Donald Trump is wrongly changing, which would be the estate tax, which is often called the death tax. So first, what is the estate tax? The estate tax is when a person passes away and they transfer their estate to another individual. That individual needs to pay taxes on the value of the estate. But they only need to pay taxes if the estate is worth more than $5.5 million. I think the exact number is $5.45 million. Now that's a lot of money to be transferred to an individual. And it certainly seems reasonable that if you're going to be transferring that kind of wealth to a person, that wealth get taxed. Now remember, the first $5.45 million is not taxed. It's only above the $5.45 million. So the vast majority of Americans never get touched by this tax. Again, it's only the wealthiest Americans. And in fact, it's interesting to note that there are a lot of loopholes in place that allow people to escape having to pay the estate tax. So I believe those loopholes should be closed up and more of that money should be going to the Treasury. So it's fair to ask, how much money is contributed to the Treasury through the estate tax and through the alternative minimum tax? Well, right now, the alternative minimum tax is about $35 billion a year collected by the Treasury. With increases over the next 10 years, the number is going to be somewhere around $500 billion. That's a lot of money, $500 billion. The estate tax, somewhere around $270 billion over 10 years. Again, a lot of money. When you add these two up, we're looking at somewhere around $770 billion. We're approaching $750 billion. Now, if the Treasury doesn't collect this money, it's going to have to be made up elsewhere. And who's going to make it up? I promise you, it's going to be middle income earners. You're going to pay this. And again, if you're just entering the job market, or if you have young children who will be entering the job market 10 or 15 years from now, they're going to be paying back a shortfall that President Trump decided needed to be paid to the wealthiest Americans in this country. It's going to be really painful because it's a lot of money that's going to have to get paid back. And that just doesn't seem right to me. Now, there's something interesting to bear in mind. In 2005, Donald Trump paid $31 million in alternative minimum tax. So by eliminating the alternative minimum tax, he benefits personally greatly. We have no idea how much he would benefit in 2016, 2017, 2018, or over the next 10 years. But you can be sure if it's somewhere around $31 million a year, it's going to be over $300 million over 10 years. What exactly is motivating Donald Trump to want to eliminate these taxes? You have to ask. I appreciate you listening to this video. Have a great day.